Everybody's in position.
Sure.
Yes.
I think so.
All right, just give it like a 5-second silence. Welcome, campers, to another episode of the Campfire Gaming Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'll be your host tonight. With me, per usual, I've got Rich. I've got Matt. Hey, General Feathers, how we doing? We've got Chris with us, too. I figured I'd leave him hanging for a minute.
That's a
see how
little
long
insane.
it took. That was interesting.
That's our
fun.
new intro.
Oh my
That's
god.
That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be really hard to do every time.
That is gonna be really
It
tough.
was still a fun time. I don't know. We try weird things. It's actually really hard to coordinate that, like trying to figure out your left and your right and mirror imaging and all that. But welcome to another episode, everybody. I forgot to pull up the document, so I'm going to take a minute to pull that up and linger on with some waffling. Gentle Feathers, are we excited to talk about some stuff tonight?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We're ready to talk about some stuff tonight. But before we talk about some stuff tonight, I'd like to make sure that you, the dear listener, visit our website at www.campfiregamingpodcast.com. Be sure while you're there to follow our Discord, follow our Twitter, follow our Instagram. And if you are a YouTube person and you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
You got to make sure you hear the noise when you hit the like and subscribe buttons, because if it doesn't make the noise, perfect.
Yep.
Per usual, after you check out those things, maybe wait until the episode's over and then go hit those things. So we'll throw another reminder at the end and all that jazz. Per usual, we've got some quickfire stuff that Matt's going to walk us through.
Oh, I'm in charge?
Unless Chris wants to walk through the
Let's
quickfires.
party.
I think you're very excited about the first one, so I feel like maybe you got to start this party.
I am. I'm going to start off with...
Not you.
Oh.
Not you, Chris.
Not
Chris
me?
is way more... Chris is like, I'm getting this.
Wait, what am I excited for again? What part of this am I actually excited for?
Have you not looked at the document?
I have looked at the document.
It's the first thing on the list.
Fine.
Didn't you throw something up on Discord about actually getting this?
No, I threw up the link for people to be able to get it.
I thought you said you were totally buying it.
Let's just hit this out right now. The Xbox mini fridge has been the first wave, I guess, of pre-orders is out, but disappeared almost as quickly as they went live. So as far as I'm aware, no one we know has gotten their pre-order, right? Yeah.
Completely forgot about it. I felt like an idiot. My roommate's like, you get one? I was like, what? I was like, oh, shit. They're gone.
Did your roommate get a hold of one or no?
No.
No.
It was, yeah. It does seem like if you go on eBay or something like that, scalpers kind of got the best of them.
Like everything else in
yeah,
this world.
That's this,
What else is new?
this generation. Xbox tweeted about some news with Fable and then quickly backtracked that. It sounds like it might. Everyone was assuming it was going to be an announcement about the new Fable, and it sounds like instead it may be. There's some rumors about remasters coming up, which would still be kind of cool, frankly.
You guys play a lot of the Fable games?
All of them.
Just the first one.
All three.
Yeah.
Good games.
Couldn't do the first one as well. Like, I actually got into Fable 2 first, just because I didn't have the Xbox at the time. And when I went back to Fable 1, I was like, oh my god, this is so janky. Like, trying to move and do all the stuff, the controls just weren't there. So I have beaten all three of them, but could not really get into Fable 1.
Yeah, here's hoping remasters are coming and we'll get some cool upgrades that will make them a little bit more. Yeah, that first one is a little bit jankier if you try to go back to it these days, mechanically wise. Minecraft is coming to Game Pass. I believe that's Game Pass on the PC because I know it's on the Xbox Game Pass already.
Yeah, I was going to say, who did their research? Because it is for sure on the Xbox.
And it's adding both the Bedrock and Java editions. Java edition is like the old school. That's the one I bought. Like,
yeah, that's like the classic variant.
Yeah,
of
that was
OG.
fairly certain that was a century ago at this point. God, I feel old right now. Thanks, guys.
It
I
was.
appreciate that. We did get some, in case you didn't see, DC fandom was this past weekend. We did get some new trailers for Gotham Knights, The Court of Owls, and Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
Wait, who?
Huh? Suicide Squad?
No, who?
The Court of Owls?
Yeah. Who?
God
Who?
damn it.
That's twice. I got you twice.
Owls are
Got
stupid.
him.
These games look amazing, and I'm excited.
I'm super excited for the Suicide Squad one. The Gotham Knights, I'm a little bit more passive on just because I don't care about the characters that much. Court of Owls is kind of awesome. That's a great storyline for Batman, but both games are supposedly coming next year. Seems like a lot of Batman in 1 year, but here we go.
Never too much Batman, right? Like we're getting emo Batman that comes out next
I'm
year,
actually,
right?
I will say, I'm kind of pumped for that. That trailer looked pretty badass.
Yeah, that trailer actually looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I like the less Nolan, but not too, I don't know, not too gritty kind of Batman look. Anyways, back to what people are here for, the games. Elden Ring got delayed to, it's no longer coming February of next year. Instead, it's coming, what, like a month later, isn't it?
No, it's coming February
Oh,
next
it's
year.
February,
It got delayed out of this year. Oh,
Oh, I
missed a
see why I
W
missed
in my
it.
note.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me put that W in there. So it says now
Oh,
coming.
now it's coming in
February.
February.
No coming.
Now coming. February.
It was originally what?
But
Supposed
that
to be.
was November.
That's when we get a network test.
Never mind.
Oh, God, you guys are confusing me way too much tonight. Yeah, so there's going to be a network test in November, so some people will get a chance to play it then. 5 different 3-hour sessions from between the 12th and the 15th, which I'm assuming is a weekend, but I don't look at calendars, so I really have no idea.
So just a bit of extra info is I actually signed up for it.
Yeah.
But if you go to their website, it says it's only European. So I'll be very intrigued to see if I actually get access to it. Just because it does say EU only. So
Gotta
if you're in
bust
the
out
US,
that VPN.
Yeah, get a VPN.
if you're in the US, you go check it out. I'd still register for it because if they give it to you, hell yes.
Well, now's the perfect time to talk about our sponsor, NordVPN. No, they're not our sponsor. Sad face.
Yet.
Is that a real company?
NordVPN? Yeah.
Yeah.
NordVPN
That's why
is
they're
very
not our
much a real
sponsor.
thing.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Yep, there goes our chance of getting sponsored by them. Mike's like, who
Hey,
are they?
If the foot job didn't eliminate us from Xbox, this won't eliminate us from VPN.
Have we been eliminated from Xbox? Is that a surefire thing
We
that
have
it
not.
hasn't?
We haven't.
It's like a Schrodinger's cat situation, right?
Okay.
Because we haven't reached out to them, and but if we do, will they? Anyways.
I don't think that's a Schrodinger's cat thing. I think that's free advertising on our part.
Yeah, pretty
for-
much.
For
That's
them.
us giving it to them for free.
Like they're talking about Game Pass all the time.
Yeah,
We
right.
don't,
We
even have
don't
to give
need
them
to give them
anything.
anything. All right, that's all we have for the Quickfire news. I guess it's now time to get to the meat and potatoes
What meat and potatoes?
games.
We're going
stuff.
to talk about games.
Video games.
Video games indeed. Not really board games, but I do get bored in some of these games. Anywho,
Burn.
did any of you folks see the Pokemon Arceus video?
Is that
Anybody?
weird, like, found footage looking thing?
Yeah.
I was super confused by it.
Me too, because Pokemon's not usually like Murder Town.
Like a horror
So-
thing. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you couldn't see anything.
I mean, you could like there were glimpses of things.
Were there?
As he was walking through the wilderness and stuff, you could see little bits, and then there was something in the distance he really couldn't make it out as you were like getting to that point that he talked about climbing up to, and then he described a Pokemon that I am not familiar with, just based off of a quick. There's too many for me to know since the originals, but he kind of made some comments about what a Pokemon looked like, and then just started screaming like it was the end of times.
It's so cute. It's so cute. It's killing me. Oh my god.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
It's like
Carried off.
Buddy the Elf when he's walking to New York. He comes across that raccoon. So
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it ties into the story that's going to be in that game. It does sound like it's a little bit darker to begin with, but also it's supposed to be like way back. So I'm not really sure how a video camera ends up in that space. There are rumors of a should have put this in the rumor section of a new Pokemon game coming early 2022 that they're going to be announcing at some point soonish, maybe soonish. I don't know. Sometime next year. They're thinking that we're going to get the next generation of Pokemon games. So
Nice.
maybe it's a teaser for where that starts. Or
Could be
Pokemon
cool.
Snap got super dark. One of the two.
A Halloween themed Pokemon
Yeah,
Snap would be
found
cool.
footage,
Yeah,
Pokemon
yep.
Snap. That could be.
They're all wearing costumes.
There's only one that wears costumes. Well, two. It's like Pikachu and well, okay.
Well, I'm saying that's like
Turtle
the
wears
seasonal
glasses.
event. They
It's like a
they
bunch of-
they dress them all up.
They do that in Pokemon Go. So they do have like Pikachu in like a little costume.
Like a Ryan Reynolds costume.
Yes, it's Ryan Reynolds. One of the best comments that I did see on this video though is that this is Who's That Pokemon got extremely dark. Like they're describing. If you don't know what Who's That Pokemon is, you won't get it. But it's a show thing.
That's why I laughed. Like I knew what you were talking about because I don't.
Oh, so like in the animated series, like the cutscenes or like cuts to commercials, there'd be a piece where they'd be like, "Who's that Pokemon?" and it'd be a like shadow outline of whatever it was, and it was your job to like over the commercial break guess
Figure
what
out.
Pokemon it was, right?
Yeah.
So this is that same thing. They've given you a "Who's that Pokemon?" but it's super murder mode. So who knows?
I like it.
Yeah, so check that out. Super interested to see where that goes. I don't know anything about this next one. I had looked for it. I tried to see, but apparently there's a blockchain game coming out. It's like a blockchain wars game.
It's Roblox, right? Blocks. Fighting
Roblox
each-
chain. Yeah.
Roadblocks chain. No, what this is I believe Age of Rust is already out, and now it's going to be taken off of Steam because Valve came out over the weekend and said they aren't going to be allowing games that use blockchain and allow users to earn NFTs and cryptocurrency on their platform. Currently, that's I guess the currently part is me adding that little note. My theory is they just don't have a policy in place yet.
Probably
And
not.
NFTs and cryptocurrency and blockchain is such new technology that everybody's trying to figure out what to do with it. You have varying groups, that are just like, yeah, put everything on here. And other groups are like, I don't know yet. We don't know what our policy is around this stuff. So what I found funny was like, I don't know, maybe an hour or two later, Tim Sweeney's like, fuck it. Epic Game Store is going to allow all this stuff on, so come on over. So it looks like he's all for putting blockchain and NFTs and cryptocurrency stuff on his platform.
Good. I
So-
can't wait till there's an NFT gambling ring on the Epic Games Store too. I mean, Steam already has a problem with people trading like skins and Steam Cash and all that for
Mhm.
and gambling with that sort of stuff. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when people start integrating like crypto and real money stuff.
How
the
do you
platform.
gamble with that stuff? Like you make bets against other people in
Yes.
like Steam currency?
In skins. Yeah, so it was a big problem. I mean, I think it's still kind of an issue is that you would take like a Counter-Strike skin that had value on the Steam store. It had a dollar value on the Steam store. And you would go and you would trade that over to one of these like gambling websites and you would bet a bunch of like high cost skins. And then, if like the Counter-Strike team you were betting on or something like that won, or you're doing one of those like stupid lottery things where you like spin the wheel and hope it lands on something for you. Yeah, then they would reward you with like skins that were bet into the pool or something like that. And that's kind of how that worked. And there was really no regulation around it. So you could have like, minors go and start gambling
Sure.
their entire Steam, their whole library of Steam skins and lose a bunch of money, and then they whip out the parent's credit card, buy a bunch of expensive, ops or something like that, gamble those away. It's bad stuff.
It sounds more of a parenting problem.
No, it's definitely not a platform problem. definitely not an issue with allowing sort of like that stuff to exist.
Nah, they shouldn't get their parents' credit card without like, permission. So if you're raising thieves, you might as well assume they're gambling too, right?
Yeah. Wait till your kid starts doing that, and then you'll be like, no, I don't like this anymore.
Yep.
No, we knew right away to start like instantly putting on like passwords and locks on anything. Even like purchases with my cards. If there's something that comes through anywhere, I get a notification of it. So not gonna happen. The boy is not gonna be like $800 in before I find something.
Yeah, just 200.
Or
No.
20 at a time, on a
No,
weekly
it'll-
basis. Dad, can I have 20 Robux? Can I have 20 Steam dollars that I can buy a bunch of cool skins? Sure, son. That sounds like a good idea. Sweet. I'm gonna go gamble these on Cloud9 winning their next match.
I mean, if he lose, okay. So again, parenting. I would buy that Roblox bucks at Target. I wouldn't give him a card. I wouldn't give him a credit card to do it. If he decides,
No,
to
I'm talking
take
about
that-
like buying a Steam card. Like he would
Okay.
ask you for
So if
Steam
he-
cash, and
if
then
he-
he would go and buy the skin with Steam cash, and
Which
then he'd
you
go
can-
gamble that away.
you can get Steam Cash on like at Target too, right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
get a Steam
Mhm.
gift card. So that is all he would get is a gift card. I wouldn't give him
Right.
access to the card or put it on the account, things
Right.
like that. Other than I think you need one to be able to like solidify the account. Anyways, that to me that's another parenting thing. Like I'm gonna give him that card, and if whatever he does with that card is whatever, I've already given that $20 over. If he wants to gamble his skins and lose them, maybe that's a learning lesson. Like probably don't bet because it doesn't always mean you're gonna win. So
Interesting.
I think it's just how you approach it, right? I don't think it's a good thing in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, it's not always the platform.
Well, I mean, I think in this case, I mean, it very much is the platform. The platform, I mean, that's why they've put in rules around trading and things like that already on Steam, is to help curb this sort of an issue, because it's not even just kids that this could be a problem for. It's, people who are gambling
Adults and
addicted.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep. Can you trade skins and stuff like that on the Epic Store?
Of course not.
What can you do on the
What
Epic
is
Store?
trading?
So see, because they're so limited,
Yeah,
it's perfect.
not yet anyway. We'll have to wait until 2030 to get that,
Yeah.
after they're done with achievements.
So realistically, it's safer than Steam to allow this.
Theoretically.
God, it's so sad that would be the first thing they develop instead of
Oh, absolutely.
Actually
They go
making-
straight into
yeah.
gambling instead of achievement.
Then a shopping cart.
like, guys, I don't see
Yeah.
how we make a lot of money on trading things, but we can make a ton of money on
on
gambling.
on a gambling site. Yeah.
And all
that's a
these
good
lawsuits
idea.
are starting to rack up.
I obviously in this situation, it's there's some bad things with gambling, but I will throw out that the blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFT stuff. I do think there are some kind of good things that it could bring to gaming, but I think I've said this a while back, is that the downside is you're going to get your EAs, your Ubisofts, your Activisions that are going to, you watch in the next 5 years, it's going to be kind of our next loot box, kind of issue, right? How are EA and Activision and Ubisoft preying on you and everybody else with their NFT things, their cryptocurrency, blah blah blah. But
Yeah,
I think there's going to be some good things that come out of it as well, not just this stuff. And again, I do think Valve is going to at some point allow, I guess to what extent, I don't know, but I think theirs is just, they don't have a good policy in place to manage it, so they're going to say no to everything right now, and then
Work with the lawyers.
behind the scenes, work with lawyers, come up with a policy, and then
Right.
because it's
Which
going
is-
to be in gaming in the future.
Which is really funny that Tim Sweeney's so hyped to jump on this, because there's no way they're going to ever implement that feature into Epic Games in our lifetime.
I think it's that they're going to allow, they're going to be opposite Apple, right? They're just going to let you put your game on the store, and all your payments and crypto and blockchain, like that's going to be outside of, I'm guessing they'll just,
That makes more sense.
right?
have
That
it
it's
outside
not
of
like,
it.
hey, you're going to put your blockchain and, it's not like at least that I know of, Epic Game Store and Epic isn't moving to using blockchain technology or NFTs. Or
Gotcha.
crypto. That's how I took it, right?
Well, I would be very happy with circumventing the Epic Game Store and buying my games elsewhere.
Yep.
That's just a place for free games, honestly.
Yeah,
That's the only...
it's just a place to get free games
What did I
and
grab the
Unreal
other-
Engine.
Stubbs.
Yeah,
Stubbs.
Stubbs the zombie. Yep. Yeah.
Moving on up, we've got some Diablo news. Rich, have you been playing D2 or no?
Yeah, I've been playing it a lot actually.
Are you having issues?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were talking about the disconnects and the login issues.
Yep,
Yeah,
just
I've been-
throwing you a bone here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm catching that and I'm gonna run with it. Yeah, I mean, it was really unfortunate because I was off basically all last week, and throughout the start of the week, I did notice that they were running into a lot of problems with even just logging into the game. And contrasting to what you could do in the original Diablo 2 is that if you couldn't log into Battle.net for some odd reason, you could still play your multiplayer characters and things like that. Well, because DRM and always online services and things like that, I can't play any of my characters unless I can log in. So TLDR on this is that Diablo 2 has been having a lot of problems with random disconnects, game creation issues, things like that. Battle.net just seemingly going down for hours at a time. People just kind of confused as to what the hell is going on. And that was earlier last week that this started happening. This was starting to be really noticeable. So eventually, throughout sometime last week, Blizzard had put out a very large blue post, kind of outlining in actually pretty good detail what the issues were. And it was pretty transparent, and I actually thought it was fine the way that they outlined it. I'm interested to see how they're going to fix this in the long term, but they also outlined some short-term fixes as well. The gist of it is that for those of you who don't play Diablo 2 on a regular basis or haven't played it in 20 some years or something like that, is that when you're going through and you're playing the game, it's very much you're farming for loot, right? That's kind of the game loop of Diablo, is that you play until you beat essentially the last difficulty, and then you're just always farming for loot. To do such a thing in Diablo 2 requires you to farm specific spots within the game. Once you kill a specific boss or you clear out a specific area, you exit the game, create a new one, start all over. That's basically the loop. What has been happening is that because there's been such a big resurgence of players, especially over this last weekend, they noted in the blue post that they had seen a large influx of players, just recently as opposed to launch day. That all of a sudden everybody's creating a lot of these games now that people are, getting their characters leveled up and they're hitting kind of that sort of end game loop of finding a bunch of items and creating a bunch of games. It's causing a lot of strain on the back-end databases because they're working with a lot of old game code and an old game service, basically. So because you have all these people pounding the server with, creating games, running through them, 20 seconds later, exiting, creating a new one, that sort of a thing, it was just causing a whole bunch of problems. On top of that, they mentioned that they had a big update to their backend services while all this was going on. So it's like, they had a bunch of issues where it was just never able to, I guess, keep up with the demand that the players were putting on the servers themselves. So they've, implemented a couple of features to, not really features, but they talked about, taking this ancient game service and kind of recreating it in such a way that it's more of like a microservice. You'll hear this a lot in the software development world, is working with microservices. So very tiny apps that do very specific things. In this case, it's going to be specifically for, game creation and database interaction and things like that. To kind of handle this sort of traffic, they can scale these sorts of apps up and wide so that they could have more instances of these apps available to kind of service these requests.
Yeah, it's like disjointing the service from the rest of the operation so that it can do just what it wants to do. So
Right. Yeah, and so that you're not necessarily if you are, have a service that's opening a bunch of connections to a database or something like that, you don't end up bottlenecking some other part of the service because it's all one big service and then it just kind of hangs for a while. It sounds like it's a really good idea in the long term. So far, as of recently, I haven't been experiencing a lot of these issues as of this past weekend, but earlier on the week before, yeah, it was really, really bad. And I would not be able to play for hours at a time. And it would be pretty frustrating because I had wanted to play. And so you go on Reddit and you watch all the memes that people are, making about how Diablo 2 is down again.
How many characters have you beat it with?
I have one. I have a 80 something hammered in that's gone all the way through, and I'm working through with like a 60 something Blizzard Sork right now.
Nice. Going straight meta with that Blizz, huh? Just icy death.
Kinda. To be honest with you, I was getting real sick of so I don't farm a whole lot. It's like, even though that's what my hammered in is really good for. There's a chess piece that I need to get so that I can have teleport. And I really, really, really just wanted teleport. So I was just like, screw this. I just want to play a sorceress and just teleport all over the place. So
Nice.
I decided to make a Sork instead.
Right on. Yeah, I do need to pick that game up. It is something that I want to play. I just haven't yet. I'm happy that they're getting the kinks out, though. It'll be nice to be able to just jump in and have it run smoother, and not have to worry about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is something that I kind of liked to see is, they really didn't. I mean, they really didn't pull punches on this. If you look at this blue post, like, it's a really lengthy post. It's a very large post, kind of outlining a bunch of different stuff, like what happened, why is this being caused, how are we going to fix it, what are our long-term solutions, our short-term solutions. It was just transparent. That's all I can really say about it. And I actually, as a player, can really appreciate that, because I don't know, maybe it's because we're all kind of technical people here. We can kind of understand some of these problems that they're running into, and it's kind of more, we can be a bit more empathetic about it, or sympathetic about it.
How many times have you been in a bug situation where they just straight up lie to the client? Like, oh no, it was nothing.
I'm not privy to I'm not privy to those conversations, but I feel like I get told that a lot on the other side of the spectrum when it's me as the customer.
Sure.
It's nice seeing studios and companies starting to be a little more transparent with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll get pissy, and we'll, as gamers, we'll get pissy and we'll make jokes and things like that on Reddit, and we'll take the piss out of the company because it's a very large company that's got very, what would seem like trivial problems. But I mean, this is far, like, the way that they described it, it's far from a trivial problem. It's, they're describing it as a, like, even back in like 2001, 2002, when this game was kind of at its peak, we saw nowhere near the numbers that this game is getting now. And it's still kind of running on old code, and it's just being bombed with all the people and all the requests. They describe in the forum post about how, they're, what I was talking about earlier with how you farm items. A lot of people didn't really know necessarily about that back in the day. They didn't have like a YouTuber or a streamer or something like that be like, okay, well, here's how you do a lower Kurost run. It takes about 15 seconds to complete the whole thing, and then bop, 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 and you're done. You just quit and remake the game, and then you farm runes until your eyes bleed. But, now that you have like way more people and easy access to information like this, it's a really interesting problem to run into when you have a lot of information about your game readily inaccessible to be able to play the game the quote right way kind of a thing.
Yeah, back when I first played it, I just ran through it with characters. I didn't even think about going back. Like, you go on the next like difficulty, right? Like, you keep buffing up your dude in the next difficulty for the challenge. But I never sat there and farmed. I was never like, ooh, I wonder if I'd keep killing this guy if I'll get it. No, it was just play it through. But cool. Battlezone 2042 has a new mode. Well, it's not new. It was there. It just we couldn't play it. Hazard Zone.
What's
That
Battle Zone?
Battle Zone?
Hazard Zone.
You said Battle Zone.
You
I'm
did.
pretty sure I said Hazard.
No.
Play it
When you
back.
first described the game, you called it Battle Zone
Not
2042.
Battle Zone. It's Battle Zone Hazard
Battle
Field
Zone
2042.
2042.
Battle Zone Hazard Field
hurts.
2042. It has a new mode. Well, at least they're describing one of the game modes. So I don't know about it. It's kind of a squad v squad v squad
Mhm.
v squad v squad v squad.
It's like a
v
hunter showdown without the
squad v squad v squad.
monsters.
Did this
Squad.
for those that watched the 20th anniversary Ghost Recon event? Did this seem like the same thing that was it called Frontline? Wasn't that what it was called?
Smaller in
Like-
scope, but yes.
It's like same idea. So like watching this, I was like, wait, isn't Ghost Recon's doing this? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather just play All Out Warfare than this. Probably. I don't know. Maybe it's fun. Maybe if all of us get on there, it'll be a lot more fun than I think it is. But right, yeah, 4-person squads. Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure it wasn't a
Yeah.
three squad thing. But I don't know. Just it to me, it didn't hit. It didn't hit for me. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
what's really going to be interesting is that they've been sending out those surveys for Battlefield after all of the feedback that they got from the beta. I mean, do you think that this would be something that they would end up changing? I mean, they just revealed it, so now you just like, if they say undo all the specialist stuff, how do they go about redesigning this so that it doesn't incorporate using these specialists and the dark market for those
So you can-
specialists?
You can have the specialists in that chunk of the game, right? And you can just go back to regular operators with different loadouts in the other one, right? I think it'd be easier to just pull that chunk of code. And again, I don't write code, so I don't know. Pull that out, like decouple that section from that piece, add generic operators, and leave it in the rest of the game where it makes sense. Because I think it does make sense to have specialists in a squad v squad v squad game.
Does kind of work,
versus
yeah.
the bigger team battles. You can really, because you're doing the squads versus squads, it's more likely you're going to be pairing with your buddies. You can really look at what your loadout should be and how much of what you need. I don't know if you get vehicles in this version. I didn't
I
look at
don't
it.
remember seeing
so-
anything. I saw a wingsuit.
Definitely
Neat.
saw a wingsuit. I swear I saw like a smaller, like a Jeep or something like that. But
Sure. But probably not like a helicopter, probably
No.
not like a tank and things like that. So
So this is very much like a Tarkov kind of a game mode.
mhm.
I don't know if you guys have played Tarkov before, but
I haven't played it. I've watched streams.
a very like PvE focused pseudo. It's not really like a battle royale. It's you essentially like farm up gear and then you leave with said gear.
Mhm.
It's like I'm guessing it's like Tarkov, but what's the other game? You're out in like the swamps. It's kind of got a midwestern or a western feel
Hunt
to it. What's the name?
Showdown.
Hunt the Showdown.
Yeah.
Is what some people I saw were comparing it to.
Yeah,
Again, it's
it's
that
very
whole
much
like
that.
you're not battling. Your objective isn't to battle each other. It's to complete this other objective, but everybody else has similar or the same objective. So is that the same thing as this Tarkov stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. And to your point of changing anything from these surveys, I don't think if they're going to make any major changes to the specialist system or try to go back to the class system, the game would have to be delayed. It's too close for them to make any major changes. So they'll probably launch it, and if there are major changes, it'll come after.
I don't think that, yeah. As much as I would want them to bring back the old class system, unless they have like a branch of code ready to go where it is already like that. Yeah, I would see that they would have to delay it, but at the same time, it would be really silly for them to delay it. If they're trying to compete with like Call of Duty and all that in November, like, yeah, that's not a game. That's not a battle that they want to lose.
no, definitely not.
Yeah, I just prefer a good game over here's a beta, we'll fix it. like they did Battlefront.
Here's a $60 beta. Enjoy.
Like Battlefront. I think I played it a year or two in. It was pretty decent, and then by the end, it's supposed to be very good. Battlefront 2, but yeah, I don't got 2-3 years for them to make the game that was supposed to release in now ish. Was it originally like the 22nd or something? It's not the 22nd now, but anyways.
So it looks like Call of Duty is getting a security upgrade for some anti-cheat stuff. This kind of sounds like, was it Valorant that had the same kind of deal? We're going to get a kernel level anti-cheat. So that'll be fun. However, they have promised that when Call of Duty is live, the kernel will be running. And when Call of Duty is off, it will also die as well. It will shut down and will not be running in the background of your system.
Supposedly. Also, this is
Supposedly.
just for Call of Duty Warzone on PC. Obviously, this isn't going to affect any
Right.
console players. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see, because that was it Vanguard for Valorant, and was it Denuvo or something for a lot of those other games that were having issues with the kernel level?
Well, Denuvo is a DRM. That's a DRM software. Not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another one that wasn't
But-
Vanguard? I'm probably mixing it up with this. 'Cause I feel we talked about it on the podcast before, where
I don't remember if it was
trying to remember
something
what it
that like
was.
Ubisoft was releasing some sort of kernel level stuff, but Vanguard is the only one that comes to mind, and that's because that was kind of the most infamous one, being that sort of, I guess you could call it a pioneer in that regard for anti-cheat by invading your system.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on kernel stuff, but wouldn't that require it to boot up or have something load with the computer? As like, yeah, they say it's not running, but they still have to load something up, whether it's not running, whether it's just kind of a little listener that allows them to then access whatever that kernel level.
Yeah, you'd think
Stuff
it would
is.
have to be a listener of some kind. That's the game starts. Like, oh, Call of Duty started. I have to jump on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your
Because I think that's the idea of the kernel level stuff, is that it's there literally from when you're booting up your computer. There's something in there. You've got a hook in there. But again, I'm not an expert in this shit. I don't understand that kernel level stuff very well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know entirely how they have their implementation for it. I mean, I don't know if it's like Call of Duty itself spins up a service that attaches to this driver or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. Regardless, I'm not a big fan of this kind of stuff. I mean, cheaters are one thing, sure, but we even saw that with Vanguard. It had mixed results. You could
Mhm.
still find plenty of, like, it wasn't a silver bullet by any stretch of the imagination, and you still had tons of hackers that were plaguing Valorant.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Apparently-
is this are you happy with this kind of stuff running on your computer, even though it may have mixed results? And even with Vanguard, we had all kinds of like compatibility issues that caused crashing and
Mhm.
all kinds of other host of issues.
I can say for at least myself, I definitely don't want Call of Duty Warzone running on my computer. So
Is this anti-cheat more directed to like reduce the number of people being hackzors in their game, or is this more for like when they do the competitive tournaments, people trying to get in and
No,
monkey
this
around
is
with that?
this is more so to kind of attach itself to a client side, any like client side cheats.
Yeah, I get that, but what I'm saying is like the motivation behind it. Like, what is the motivation behind
I
putting
think
this
there's
on there? Is that to reduce the number of people cheating in like the open play and like your general pool, or is there a lot of issues with when they do like the online only tournaments? Are they seeing some goofy stuff on the replays and things like that? So just
So I would probably think that as a more general case, this is just another anti-cheat. That's
Okay.
and it's supposed to do exactly what the idea is. Regardless if it's like easy anti-cheat or Vanguard or whatever solution that they decide to help try and curb cheating, that's what this I believe is what they're going for, is just
boo.
a general purpose anti-cheat.
I believe Warzone's been I mean, a lot of games are, but I think Warzone is. There's been a lot of complaints about just cheaters in general for the last couple months, and this is probably their solution. We'll see. It comes with the update on November 5th, so we'll see if it actually, helps.
That's why I
But-
stopped
Call of
playing.
Duty's always had a problem with cheaters. It has been one of the games that people have been able to do all sorts of stuff, and it's not necessarily like Vanguard will fix that or like an anti-cheat will fix that. There are some things that people find that they can do within the game itself to do the cheating. So I'd be interested to see. I don't know, but what is the type of cheating that is occurring? Are they
It's
using
auto aim.
like level? Oh, auto aim.
Well, it's stuff that could exist on the client side.
Yep.
So that could be like running some sort of third-party software to help give you like wall hacks or something like that, or
Yep.
aimbot, or doing things that could manipulate your software on an assembly level, so that you're essentially playing with the game's code as it's running.
Sure. Yeah. I was just interested in what the big driver was, because like with Advanced Warfare and some of the earlier titles, you could get underneath the levels. I know some of the World War II games had some big issues with that, where you didn't even have to have something else running. There were ways that you could cheat. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough problem to solve, because realistically, the server could only validate so much.
Mhm.
It can validate to make sure that players are in, relative. It can validate to make sure that like players are within the boundaries of the level and they're not like flying high in the sky and stuff like that. I mean, I remember running into stuff like that even back in like the Halo 2 days with like the
Yep.
action replay stuff, if you ever ran into that. But yeah, with server side validation, you can validate that things are like that. You can't just have somebody auto kill everybody on the map, because the server won't let you do stuff like that.
sure.
What the server can't do is make sure that your game running on your machine is running legit. That's what these things are for. That's what these sort of kernel level anti-cheat drivers are for, is to kind of monitor what kind of software you're running on your computers to make sure that it's not injecting itself into the software of your game, so that you can't run like cheat engine or something like that to get auto aim, or whatever
Right.
way that you decide that you're going to be cheating on a client level.
Speaking of Call of Duty, are you guys excited for Vanguard?
I'm intrigued. I know I'm probably the only person, but
I think
wanna
these
be
are
excited.
Matt's favorite games.
I want to be
personally.
excited because I like World War II, and I want to play more first-person World War II. But I think Ghost was the last. No, Advanced Warfare was the last one I played, and it was just like, I don't know, just not my games. Even though I love FPS.
and mind you,
So-
not a World War II game, but that's besides the point.
Right. So this one's gonna be a World War II game as well. Apparently, it's gonna have some story, like real story, like real good story. So much so that you will want to play multiple iterations of this game. Not once, not twice, but thrice a Vanguard game. So that'll be interesting to see what they do with it. To really push that story. I know, like in Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, I thought they had a really good story.
Yeah.
Just going through those. So it'll be nice to see a Call of Duty game get back to having a good first-person story. I really enjoyed the co-op campaign stuff that you're able to do. Like, there was a level in, I think, Modern Warfare 2 where you have to like sit in the gun of like a
The AC-130
Humvee.
mission.
Yeah, and you're just in it through like the entirety of the level, and you're driving through narrow streets, and they're dumping stuff on you, and you've got to like hide at the right times, pop back up at the right times, protect the vehicle. It was just such a cool like level. So I just really hope that they can pull that back in and bring it back to more of a good campaign, because I think as soon as they added Kevin Spacey in Advanced Warfare, like that campaign was just dumb. But I know I played through it like 15 times. It wasn't good.
You didn't like the celebrity villain picks?
No,
Harrington, Kevin Spacey.
It wasn't just a celebrity like villain pick. It was right away. As soon as you see Kevin Spacey, I was like, he's the bad guy. This has
Kevin
nowhere
Spacey.
else to go.
Yeah.
But they spent a lot of money to put Kevin Spacey on that, and it was immediate. You knew he was the bad guy. And then doing the Die Hard ending with him was even worse. Like, please don't.
Spoiler alert.
It's old enough. It's been out for a day or two. So I don't know. I hope that they can really like not just make a great story for one, but do a good chain of events that makes it worthwhile. That would be neat.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, a lot of this campaigns and Call of Duty games rely very heavily on things like set pieces to kind of push the campaign forward. I mean, I think even the Modern Warfare campaign was okay. It wasn't a really good story. Like, I'm talking about like the new Modern Warfare, not like Modern Warfare from like 2004 Modern Warfare. It was okay.
I didn't play it.
The Call of Duty World War II campaign was okay. It wasn't anything special.
Right.
The thing that's kind of weird about this, and they mentioned this specifically for this game, is that they're really trying, and this could be like a whole conversation in and of itself, probably not for this episode, but like they're really trying to almost force iconic characters into the front of Call of Duty. Like they're trying to make you care about specific characters, even though we already care about characters like, Captain Price and Soap and
Nikolai.
Even though we had characters that we really cared about because they were not forced to be like, we're gonna make these. We want to have the Master Chief of Call of Duty in this game, and it's like now it just feels forced.
Yep.
I don't know.
Is there a game or movie or franchise you can think of where they try to kind of force like, hey, these are the ones you guys are gonna like, and then it's successful? Like,
Isn't that every movie ever?
I mean, isn't
not
that the
like-
point of movies?
You're
Well, like,
supposed
I mean,
to know,
this-
I like these guys.
So
Then
what
they
we're
put in
talking,
that like side character that's kind of funny
Not-
but kind of annoying.
right.
You're not really sure yet.
but
Sort of. More so, we're talking about not to make a character that we're going to like and identify with, but to sort of force them into like the conversation, like basically
Of
force
iconic.
them in. Force them into like the zeitgeist of pop culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just want to force that in there so that they'll be, we want to force a new Terminator character or force a James Bond character in there or something like that. Like we're trying to,
don't just write
make that happen.
a story with a good character. You're trying to say you're gonna like this character before you even know anything about him.
Jar
gonna
Jar
try and-
Binks.
We're gonna try and yeah, good point.
Dude's gonna
Greatest
be
character
badass.
ever. What are you talking
Yeah, what are you
about?
talking about?
This guy's gonna be the shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, so what we're talking to here is the writer at Sledgehammer Games, Sam Maggs, who commented about how they're trying to create these iconic characters, and how they want to make a Vanguard 2 and 3. And it's just, I mean, the first one's not even out yet, and like nobody even knows if any of these characters are going to be likable. They're just literally right from the start. It was cool that they're like, hey, here's the 4 operatives you're going to play, but now they're like, they're so cool, you're going to like them, and now we have the writer saying, hey, we wrote them that we're trying to write them in a way to make them, your next Master Chief, your next Mario, somebody that you're going to be like, you want to like, and you want us to create a Vanguard 2 and a Vanguard 3. So
That
Is
stinks
that really
of like
that bad to want though? Like if you're a game creator and you just like maybe they really love the characters and they want you to love them too. They really want to build off of this and kind of change the direction of what Call of Duty is.
I'm sure any game developer loves their characters. Like I don't think they would release games with characters that they personally hated. But I don't think telling everybody these are going to be your next Master Chiefs. It's like that whole thing.
flagship
remember-
COD characters.
Right,
That's
like
what
do you
it says
remember,
here.
like Killzone advertising itself as the
It's a
Halo killer? What was it not? Like
Anything.
Hayes was the other one, if you remember that game.
Yeah, I do remember
it put
his.
itself into the front like that, and it's trying to like bet, we're gonna be the Halo killer. These are gonna be your iconic character. Like these are gonna be like your new defining characters of video games. You're going to remember these guys for as long as video games exist. Kind
Did
of
they
a thing.
actually make the comment of like this is going to be your new Master Chief?
Yeah, they
Something similar to that. Yeah,
he specifically
they
called
talk-
out Master Chief in one of his quotes.
Was he saying that he wanted a figurehead to the game, or was he saying this is going to be comparable to something at the level of Master
He
Chief?
wanted iconic, like in the vein.
He
of
wanted
Master Chief.
specifically iconic level characters.
Yeah.
Iconic characters.
Which I would make the slight argument that one of the things that helps make someone like Master Chief iconic is the fact that they can do things that we cannot. You're going to struggle with some of that stuff in a World War II game that I assume is grounded by some level of reality. I mean, yes, amazing things happen then, but how are you going to convey that and keep your game real feeling?
Captain
Right.
America can still
Well,
die, can still get shot by bullets,
And
but
not
has
only that,
superhuman strength.
but they're also taking pieces of real human history. You know, this isn't like a Band of Brothers thing where like all these
Right.
characters are based off of real people, as far as I know.
Yeah, there's a handful.
far as-
But
I mean, like I think for this game, I don't think
Yeah.
any of the game's characters are based off of real people.
Oh, no.
As far as I'm aware. Whereas like, yeah, Band of Brothers, there were a lot of those characters who were based off of real people, which is kind of why they're iconic. Like that's why we know them, because they have a real tie-in that is kind of a personal relationship to what we know.
well, and it was they what they did was real. It was
And what they did was real, yeah. That helps too.
The
Potato,
kind-
potato. I like what they're. I like the idea,
I mean,
depending on where it's coming from.
all
I
power
think if-
to them to try.
Yeah, I think if it was phrased, or maybe it's just kind of reading the different quotes and stuff, and there's a full interview that kind of puts a better perspective on it. But I get it. Like maybe they're like, hey, we want to actually try to create good story. I mean, that's a big reason I like playing games. Is I love the stories. I like getting into the worlds. And yeah, there's apparently say apparently because I don't remember any of them. Some iconic characters from previous games. So I don't think there's a bad thing of wanting to create a story that'll stick and get people excited. I think some of it was kind of the phrasing and kind of like, we want this to be our flagship characters. We wrote them this way to try to be like Master Chief. Again, it's that whole kind of like Halo killer type thing. You're like, say, hey, we're really trying to create lovable characters that you connect with so we can continue these stories with them. So I think if depending on how it was marketed or phrased or quoted, it maybe could have been approached a little differently, and I'd have a different opinion. But yeah, if you're out here
Well,
saying
it sounds more like a love letter to that kind of a character, not trying to say it's going to be the Halo killer, unless they specifically, like
No.
the other game, said this is going to be the Halo killer. Like that sounds to me more like I'm really envious of this. I like this. I look up to this idea, and that's what I want to do with this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me personally, it just seems like it's more of I want to try and force this character
Yeah.
into your hearts and minds. Like, I care about it a lot, therefore you guys should be caring about it a lot.
Sure.
That's how
Um,
it felt like it came off. Yeah.
It's like it's like they're trying to scream, pay attention to me, rather than just being like, well, here's something really cool. Again, like, they didn't have to advertise Captain Price as a really good character. He just was a really good character, and everybody who's played Call of Duty will remember Captain Price, or even to maybe a lesser degree, Mason from the Black Ops series.
Yeah.
I mean, again, these characters are iconic not because they say they're iconic, but because they just were, and they were likable. These characters might end up being iconic, but
I hope
it
they are.
feels like like these characters might be iconic if they're going to make like a whole trilogy of Call of Duty Vanguard games, and we spend a lot of time with them. But I feel like jumping out in front of it and saying like, oh, these are going to be iconic characters, just kind of like,
Sure.
it feels like a forced joke is what it feels like. Like you're trying to force something to be funny without it actually being funny now.
kind
Right
of
side. Looks like we. I was gonna move along, Matt. What are you at?
I want to throw one last thing out there. I don't know if you guys have heard it, and maybe it's just the gaming news, but the thing I found interesting too, and it'll be interesting to see the feedback after the game's out, is I'm hearing more and more and seeing more and more articles of people kind of saying they're tired of World War II, which I love World War II, so I'm
It's
the more
always
the
waves.
merrier type, right? But it's going to be interesting to see how this is received and if they continue on with that, because I've heard, again, it could be just the news media and the articles and the one or two podcasts I listen to, but everybody's like, we're kind of done with World War II. And I'm like, shut up. That's a stupid feeling and thought, because World War II is great. So
I was gonna say, is anybody else getting like 2006 flashbacks? Because I'm pretty sure we heard the exact same thing when the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare was coming out. Is that
Mhm.
everybody was sick of World War II games at that time?
yeah, we'll see what happens. But sorry, Mike, I'll interrupt you again later,
No,
probably.
no.
But
All good. The bright side, we're getting zombies again. More, as always. Yeah,
Okay.
zombies.
I don't have much to say on that because I've not played Call of Duty. I don't know if this news is exciting for people or not.
It's
I'm just gonna say one thing I saw when I read some articles and watched the video on it is it's continuing on the Dark Ether universe. I don't know if that means anything to anybody that plays. I'm assuming that's the
I'm sure it
kind
does
of
to people that
underlying
play.
story. If they have a continuous story with the zombies mode, I imagine that's because I know they did that with, what was it called, Extinction? Wasn't that the alien one?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a couple season, there's like a story. It's not like front center, but there is something. So yeah, I guess the unique thing too with zombies is that experience will go to your battle pass or whatever they call it in Call of Duty. So it sounds like whatever mode you play, it should, or multiplayer mode, it should go towards your battle pass. But yeah, cross-play, cross-gen, 4-player co-op. If you like it, if you like shooting Nazi zombies, you're in for a treat. I think. I really don't know.
So next up here, Halo Infinite is delayed to next year.
Matt wishes.
Don't get me excited.
Go ahead, Matt or Rich or Chris, whoever wants to jump on the Halo stuff. I'm gonna take a nap. You guys let
Yeah, I
me
was
know
gonna
when we're
assume
beyond the Halo part here. But
Can we throw up an intermission thing on Mike's screen only? You know?
No. It looks like we've got some new information on Halo Infinite's multiplayer specific to competitive mode. Is that a thing?
Yeah, their competitive mode, they kind of released some details this past weekend. Some good news, I think, if you play competitive, is they're really aiming for like equal starts and what kind of putting people on a level playing field with like not giving them a ton of information, in the sense that they're disabling the motion tracker, which I mean to me makes sense. I mean, it's basically disabled anyways in Halo Infinite because it's completely useless even when it's on. But they're disabling it for competitive. Things like grenade hit markers are going to be disabled for competitive. Something that I think should be in regular multiplayer too. Friendly fire will be turned on. I really will advocate for that being turned on in all multiplayer, but competitive settings right now to be turned on.
He's gonna say that until I start team filling in for the sniper rifle, and then
I'm all for it.
we'll see. Yeah,
I gave you the sniper rifle when we played. You said, "Hey, I want to snipe." I said, "Here you go, full ammo too."
I'm
Anyways,
gonna just kill you for it next time.
yeah,
More fun that way.
yeah. And everybody will start with BRs, so that's kind of exciting. But yeah, sounds like placement and timings and things for other weapons around the map are going to be very strategic. Again, to kind of make you think and kind of work together with your team and worry about map control and zone, I guess whatever mode, maybe zone control for things like what's it called, strongholds. So
is this comparable then to like hardcore for Call of Duty? Is that kind of what this is? Or
It's like the easiest way I could put it is like the MLG game modes.
Mm.
That's what it's like. The esports game modes is what this is.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really leaning on like that kind of equal foot starting, very competitive style Halo, where it's Everybody kind of starts with the same weapon. There's going to be a very limited selection of power weapons on the map. They're going to be in very like obvious places on the map. They specify that they're going to have it's not going to do like a rotation or anything like that of like what power weapons are going to spawn on the pads or anything like that. It's going to be the same stuff every time.
Predictable stuff, so you can strategize.
Yep.
With your team,
and it's going to play like competitive Halo will.
I do like the battle rifle as your starting weapon. I think that's the most useful weapon in the game. I mean, at least from what we played. So I do like that they're doing that, and maybe I will only play competitive mode, so I don't have to track one of those down in the map elsewhere.
And it's classic too. I mean, that's classic Halo. Maybe except for Reach, didn't have a battle rifle.
The
I
DMR.
haven't played a good CTF in a long time. Long time.
Did you play the Halo Infinite beta?
Yeah, but I didn't realize it was CTF.
Big team battle.
I'm pretty sure I only got like Slayer.
Just Slayer.
I never got
and
anything
zone
else.
controller, whatever they call it.
Nothing. It was just Murderopolis, is all it was.
But no, I mean, like, so they ended up releasing this video of of footage of where their competitive settings were at, and so it was a strongholds game on what the hell is that map called? It's the one with the giant generator.
I've already forgotten the names of those
like
maps.
Power Station or something like that.
Something
I don't remember
like
what
that,
it was.
yeah.
But they showed a match, a regular 4v4 competitive match. And honestly, I thought it looked good. I mean, coming from, I love competitive Halo. Like we were talking about before this podcast, growing up kind of doing this whole like Halo CE tournaments, like down in like local shops and things like that. That's kind of what I've always loved is Halo, like really competitive Halo. And I think it looks really, really good. They made some improvements to the score screen too that I noticed, which actually was like a big relief for me. I do like that they're turning off the grenade hit markers. I like that they're, of course they're going to turn off the motion tracker, but I do like that they have the BR as the start. I love one of the things that I noted that I really, really liked is they're actually treating a lot of the equipment. They're bringing in the equipment in for use in the competitive play. And what they're treating it as is like in the same vein that you have power weapons, you have power equipment as well. Like you can go throughout the map and find things like, I don't remember what the thing was that's basically looks like a mauler, but it's not a mauler. It just shoots like a big spike. I don't remember what it was. It looks like that. But like, so that's like what you would call, I guess you could say, a power weapon. It's not like a rocket launcher, but it's weapons that you can put in that sort of off slot. They have the same thing with equipment. So they're going to have things like the grapple hook. They're going to have things like the little reflector shield and things like that. And you were seeing people do crazy cool things making plays like, somebody on one side of the map grapple hooks, flies into like a doorway that lands directly on one of the points and is able to engage on somebody who's trying to take that point right away. Or somebody who's using that like booster, that shield thing to like basically rocket jump with the shield thing to jump over, big heights and things like that to like gain an advantage on somebody. It's just cool stuff like that I think is really, really refreshing to see that this equipment is actually being utilized for a competitive Halo game. So I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I think it's going to be really fun.
What I'm hearing is that I should volunteer to be the captain of our competitive mode team. Right?
There you go. Go for it.
Start it. Campfire Gaming Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, you better be really good because you're going to have to carry me the whole way.
Literally.
Yep. You saw some of my scores in the Discord, I bet. They were not bad from the beta.
They were almost as good as mine. Almost. So bad.
But did you guys get a perfection?
Anybody
not
can
a
kill
true
one
perfection.
guy and hide in a corner, Matt.
Killed 15 people, 0 deaths, and captured the flag twice and assisted with the third capture. It's my best game ever, and now I'm going to retire because it's only downhill from there.
That's fair enough.
I don't remember when they actually reduced the the number of kills from a perfection. In Halo
That's
3, it was 25.
Yeah, it said 15 on the medal. I mean, they could adjust that
Yeah.
by
When did-
by
I don't
launch,
remember.
but
I don't know when that changed.
if it changed in Halo 5, then that's why I didn't know, because I didn't really play.
You didn't
Halo
play
5.
it. Yeah, that's fair.
So
A little bit of extra Halo news. Halo CE, Halo 2 and 3 mod tools are now available for those of you who play on Steam. However, there's a caveat. You do need to have the Master Chief Collection before you can access those tools.
people are already doing really neat. That was you, Rich, that shared the
Did you like that?
yeah, the Warthog turret. Somebody went and sat on it, and then their person actually spun around with the gun.
Yeah. A friend of mine linked that to me not too long after this went live. I thought that was hilarious.
It's pretty good, and
I
I
love-
imagine
I
we're only
love
going to see
mods.
more. Yeah,
Yeah, I love mods and I love what modding communities do to games. It's just great fun.
yeah,
Excellent.
it's going to be exciting.
Now is the part in the show where we get into some rumor mill. What does a mill sound like? Is it just creaking? Is it just
It's a lot of grinding. A mill is like two big stones grinding together.
You'll see when you get to a certain point in our book club game.
Oh, that's true. You will.
Good to know.
We go into a mill.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. If you haven't figured out, I'm not at the mill.
I assumed. Yeah.
I'm playing the freezer game right now, so that's where I'm at. Don't want to spoil it for Rich because he's got to get there still. Matt, I'll let you take the rumors here, or unless
Okay,
Chris
yeah,
or Rich,
I'll jump into rumors. So the first one is this could be exciting news. I will say for the 15th time, this is a rumor. Halo Infinite Forge. There was some screenshots that made it look like it's going to have visual scripting in it, which is like one step above what we've had before and kind of one step closer to. It's kind of you're getting a lot closer towards being able to adjust a lot more things in the game and kind of develop. It's just giving more power to the creators in this sense. So that could be very exciting for those of you that love Forge and want to do a little bit more modding, kind of on the code side of things. So that could be exciting. Imagine if that's true. Hopefully we'll hear about it soon, because that's some good news for Halo Infinite. Which, if we hear of that, then we're going to take two steps backwards with some bad news at some point, because that's the way Halo Infinite news works. But
So for those who don't know, Matt, can you tell us what visual scripting means?
so you're using like nodes, and I guess it varies in systems. What they call it it's very similar to blueprints in Unreal Engine, if you've used those, where you can take certain like functions of different items and modify them, or completely. Again, I don't know how crazy they're going to go with this, to the point if you can actually essentially reprogram stuff, or if it's just going to allow you modify a lot of the stats and variables on different things. I don't know, like you can hold 100 grenades, compared to, or I don't know, you can fire grenades out of your AR or something, or if you can actually do a lot more on the programming side and kind of create new things out of what's there. So that's yet to be seen. But it's all, you're not actually using code, you're using different nodes and then adjusting values for different variables and things like that. So
Could you imagine a grenade launcher at assault rifle speed? Just
it'd be fun.
I mean, they're doing it on Master
At the
Chief
mod-
Collection right now.
Yeah.
excellent.
Is that akin to what they've shown us for that Battlefield 2042?
Oh, the portal thing?
Yeah.
It
I
might
don't-
it might be similar.
It depends on how crazy I think they want to go with it. So
Sure.
again, they could go on the crazy level where you're essentially, like, again, in Unreal Engine, you can basically program a game using visual scripting, or it could just be kind of a little bit more control over modding certain variables and things like that. Kind of like what I would think the Battlefield, or was it Battlezone portals was going to be. I don't know, but we'll see, and obviously we'll talk about it more once we know more. But
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just a rumor, but that would be cool if this rumor was true.
especially too if it's on PC. Nothing against consoles, but being able to have that mouse and keyboard to do all the fancy visual scripting could be exciting. So, and some big news. This broke today. Did you guys see this before you saw
did.
my notes here?
I did look into it.
This is
Did not.
exciting. Maybe. We don't know anything about it. This is another rumor. Again, another rumor. And all we know is that supposedly it's in early production. A new Splinter Cell game has been greenlit by Ubisoft. So that's all we know. Could be a battle royale.
Yeah, that game series would lean really well into a battle royale game modes.
You just
We have to. Honestly, that actually might be kind of cool. You have to like sneak around and assassinate each other one by
100
one.
assassins. You'd have to
Yeah.
do it in like a city or something where there's a lot
It'd
of
be a really big
CQB.
map. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be cool.
There you go. We just made the game for him.
Oh boy.
Send us a check, Ubisoft. But yeah, no, we'll report on this more. But I think a lot of gamers are kind of maybe hesitant on rejoicing, but at least excited that an official Splinter Cell game is going to be coming. Again, what it's going to be, who knows? I don't know, because Ubisoft is going in a different direction with games, as we've seen with Frontline, and I always forget the other one, X Defiant, and yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. Chris is happy, right?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I love Splinter Cell.
I mean, just the energy, the excitement in your voice, just
Sells it.
I've been up for 17 hours. What do you want from me, sir?
Where's the passion, Chris? Where's
Yeah.
the passion?
Disappeared about 5 hours ago.
Do you want me to take this next one too?
Yeah, I think there's probably not a whole lot to dig into these things. So if you want to just give us like a secondary rapid fire, we can walk through this one.
So Marcus Lehto is he is one of the original Halo creators. He's actually the person who came up with Master Chief himself, like the model and look. Obviously, there was some collaboration there with artists, but anyways, he left Bungie. I don't know, early into Destiny 1 life cycle. He started a new company called V1 Interactive. They recently, as of last year, released the game Disintegration. Unfortunately, didn't do too well, and they shut down. I think it was like February or March this year, which is unfortunate because the game actually looked interesting. I never got a chance to play it, but it looked like it could have been fun. But good news for him, he's now the game director of what will be a new studio in Seattle, a new EA studio in Seattle. So, and this one will be focused on first-person shooter games. Most likely a new. Should I go with my terrible joke on Discord? A new Halo game based on Jane 117, Super Soldier from the Samurai program. There you go. I did it.
The joke worked better when it was typed up.
Yep, it did. But no, that's kind of exciting because obviously, as somebody who helped create Halo and Halo 1, 2, and 3, and I think had some early hands in Destiny, he's got some skill there with FPS, and it'll be exciting to see what he does here with whatever this new studio is going to be.
Fun fact, he actually created what Master Chief looks like without armor.
Oh, that's really awkward.
Yeah.
Somebody else actually put the armor on.
So he has the only known picture of what he looks like without that armor. Interesting.
I kid.
Because he
created
loves
Master Chief with the armor. He apparently has some really old builds of like Halo from when it was like the
strategy game.
It was when they moved from strategy to third person.
Oh.
Remember the old? I don't remember. It was like 1999 Apple event one where it was third person.
Do I remember? Come on.
Yeah, I think he recently on a YouTube or Twitter released some videos where he actually got an old build running and got some like guns and things and was shooting. It was weird. It's pretty cool stuff. He's an interesting guy. Really cool guy. So it's exciting.
He says as if he's had beers with him. Have you?
You don't know that? No, I haven't. I've never met him. But he's welcome to come on the show anytime and we can geek out about Halo or Destiny or Disintegration or whatever he's making here in the future.
Hell yeah.
That's it. Unless anybody else has anything else to say.
And
Not
that's
on
the
that.
whole studios section. Like we're just done.
Oh, yeah, I can go on. I'll go on. It's Xbox stuff, so let's keep going. So I think we talked about that Fable. Everybody thought there was that Fable announcement. I think really what it was a tease for the announcement of Monday, which is yesterday, but like 5 days ago from when you're listening to this, that they announced a 20th Xbox anniversary event celebration. I'm just throwing words together here. I'm not making
it's your
complete sentences.
dates. Like it's like it was Monday, so that's yesterday, but 5 days from when you're listening. Like it just feels like what the hell day is that?
I think what they were actually teasing is this Xbox anniversary celebration. Xbox is 20 years old come November 15th, so
Almost
they're doing
drinking age.
Yep. So they're doing a digital broadcast to celebrate 20 years of Xbox. They did come out and say, so that people aren't disappointed, there will be no new game announcements. But in my opinion, this is where we're actually going to see Halo Infinite campaign. I think this is where they're going to actually announce it, show it, and potentially start the hype train for it. I mean, it makes sense seeing as Halo launched day one with the OG Xbox back in 2001. So
We already saw
Wanna make
Halo
a bet?
campaign.
You want to make this interesting?
It was last
Sure.
year.
They won't show Halo campaign.
Okay.
If I win, you have to play through Pokemon Sword.
Ooh, like
what's that
the whole-
on? Is that a Switch?
Switch. I have both. We'll hook you up.
Like he has to go and complete the game, not like collect them all and that sort of a thing.
Yeah, not do like the
He
whole
just
deck
plays-
thing, but
he
just
just plays
play the
through.
campaign. Yep.
Okay.
What do you get if Matt
Well,
wins?
absolutely nothing. I don't know. I was gonna see what you have for an other side.
I don't know.
Make him
not
play
good.
Half-Life or something.
Yeah. What do you
I've
hate?
played Half-Life.
Even better. Metro Last Life. Wasn't that the second one?
No,
Yes, that was the second one.
All right. So that's that news for the celebration. I'm sure we'll talk about it if there's any big news that comes from that. Hopefully, they'll announce more mini fridges in stock. So,
I would use this for new announcements if I were them. I think that's so goofy that they're just not going to have anything for it.
Use it to announce some remasters of some classic games.
Something, right? Like just
Like-
something that's coming.
Crimson Skies. Or Brute Force. Everyone wants Brute Force to come back.
that was an okay
Masters,
game.
though.
I didn't like Brute Force.
That was fun for the time because it was 4-player co-op. And
True.
you were able to use all 4 ports on your Xbox if you had 4
I
controllers.
don't remember that game.
You could pick like a lady, a dude, some like alligator looking bro.
I can't
and
remember what the fourth one looked like.
Wasn't there was another lady, she was a sniper. And then there was a
Sure.
lady that was just kind of the assault. I think she was like the main. I
Or
don't know,
bring
it's-
back Fusion Frenzy. Freaking love that game.
There you
There's
go.
a lot of games like that on the Switch.
That's fine.
Just saying.
Yeah, like
But-
Mario Party.
But I have this right here. Right here.
Yeah. How many games can you play on that controller?
I don't know. It looks like a Nintendo controller to me. He's just playing his
I
Nintendo.
mean, I only sit right here, so.
But that controller doesn't play the game. Like you can't just turn that on and you have a game.
Yeah, the monitor's right
Whoa,
here.
You need
it
a
just
TV.
pops
There's
up.
difference. That's the Switch is just it.
That
And it
sounds
just works.
like tiny and awful.
So the
Or-
anniversary celebration, did they say how long this was? Is it going to be just like a 30-minute quick, like, hey, woo, 20 years, all right, bye? Or is it going to
Just
be
8
like,
minutes?
yeah. Or is it
I
going to
don't-
be
Average
like a,
YouTube video, like 8 minutes. Just done.
I don't think they said. Let me make sure.
I'm double
I didn't
checking.
miss
They have not said.
Maybe it'll be like a 20-hour marathon or just a 20-minute video. 20.
yeah. Well, I
clean
mean,
it
because I
into
think
20.
like we kind of talked a little bit about how a lot of the Halo news in general just seems like it's been very lackluster for the fact that like it is Xbox's 20th anniversary. This is supposed to be like the big love letter to Halo as a franchise. It's like it's all kind of coming together, right? Like, do you think that this is going to be just like a big hype for 2022 kind of a thing? Like, we already know all the stuff that they're working on currently, and they're just going to be like, yeah, like, let's blow it away with some cool Halo stuff and whatever else is coming down the pipe.
I think and I'm hoping they're going to spend a majority of the time talking about Forza Horizon
That's
5.
what I was just thinking.
Yeah,
No, I think there's going to be
a lot of reminiscing, maybe.
I think a lot of reminiscing of 20 years games. And again, I really think it makes sense to lean into the Halo stuff. Get that hype train started. I mean, the 15th, we're like, what, 3 weeks away from launch? So, and we're already nearing the end of October here. Like, we got to get a campaign trailer or something soon.
The Xbox started with Halo, in my opinion, right? There were other games, there were things you could play on it, but really Halo was that thing that was just like, it brought people into it. I don't think it was much else. So if they don't show something new, they're dumb. This is a terrible, terrible thing if they don't.
Like, what the hell else were the other launch titles for the Xbox? I want to say it was an Oddworld game. Was Munch's Odyssey a launch title?
Munch's Odyssey, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X.
Okay, that's just a port.
Fusion Frenzy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I know there was a demo
Project
for
Gotham Racing. Don't forget, never forget Project Gotham
Did
Racing.
NFL Fever launch with it as well?
It did not launch. It was Madden 2002. I'm looking at the list right now.
Oh, okay. Trying to remember. Halo was all I cared about in Tony Hawk 2X.
4x4 Evo 2, Air Force Delta Storm, Arctic Thunder, Cell Damage, which I vaguely remember, Dark Summit, Dead or Alive 3, which was another really big one, Fusion Frenzy, Halo, Mad Dash Racing, Madden NFL 2002, NASCAR Heat 2002, NASCAR Thunder 2002. Why is there 2 NASCAR games? That's insane.
And those are all day one launch.
Yeah, that's according to this. Yeah. Yes.
Got to get your NASCAR there.
NHL Hits 2002, because that's how it's spelled apparently. Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey, Project Gotham Racing, Shrek, Test Drive, Off-Road Wide Open, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2X, and Trans World Surf.
2X was
a lot of games.
Fun.
I don't remember any of those.
I remember a handful. I vaguely recall Cell Damage being like kind of a big deal, though I cannot remember anything else about it.
I don't think that, or what was the other one? Mad Dash really got anywhere.
Oh, I remember. Cell Damage was kind of fun.
Was Azuric on that list? Wasn't that the name of that game?
I don't think that came out at launch. I think that hit.
I know that was. People were excited for that.
Yeah.
Well, that came out a week later, so.
I was gonna say I know it
or
was
a week or two later.
Around.
Yeah, it was a launch window. That's what we call that. Launch window.
But
yeah, so it'll be exciting.
Really, out of all of those, there's only one game in there that I know was an absolute console seller.
Dead or Alive 3.
Dead or Alive.
One of those.
3.
It was Shrek.
Fusion Frenzy was the console.
I freaking love that game.
That was
it's
fun,
stupid,
fun
but
game.
I love that game.
But yeah, to your point, Microsoft or Xbox wouldn't be around if it was for Halo. So if they don't show or talk about anything on the 15th, which at this point makes sense. I think that's cutting it close for the hype train. But at this point, it makes sense to start pushing it and talking about it and getting that, that train rolling.
Yep.
So
looks like Phil Spencer has given us a bit of an update.
Should we start doing this every episode? Just have the Phil Spencer update. I like it.
Phil Spencer update. Gotta get some
Yep.
This is Phil Spencer update. I just read
should
like
just
a
have
random
him-
tweet.
We just read his tweets because he doesn't there's not going to be big news every week on it. It'll just be like Phil Spencer tweeted this in reply to this.
Had a hot dog and an ice cream today. Surprisingly good. Haven't had them for a while. Like that. Like just dumb stuff.
Yeah.
I think so.
No, he was talking to the Wall Street Journal this week, and he basically kind of reiterated that Microsoft, or in this case Xbox division, has no plans as of now to get into the VR space. I mean, it's a consistent messaging they've had since, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. After they kind of biffed the Oculus, there was something they were going to team up with Oculus, and then shortly after that, they're like, we're not doing VR, and they've kind of stuck with that. He thinks it's a great platform and an area where gaming's going, but he basically it's kind of the way I feel. Is like, I think there needs to be some improvements with the headset and the technology before they kind of get into it. And that sounds like what Microsoft is kind of doing as well, is waiting for it to get a little cheaper, a little more accessible. I know there's things like whatever was at the Oculus, whatever, that's like real cheap now, that doesn't need a $1,500 computer to run. But yeah, so no plans for that. He also mentioned that there's not like a specific timeline or time frame that you're going to be doing this, but they are continuing to look at acquiring studios. So we'll see. They're on the hunt. I think it's a competition between them and Sony or PlayStation. They're just going to keep buying up studios that are ready and willing, which we've just discussed before. Is I think there's some good and bad, things too, being bought up and being independent. So we'll see.
Wouldn't that be a hell of an announcement for the 15th, for November 15th, that they bought one of those OG Xbox studios, someone they worked with closely?
Ensemble? Oh, they already own them.
They
shut
already
them
own them.
down.
It's for the best for everybody in that case.
Lionhead. Oh, they bought them to shut them down too. Shit.
That's pre Phil Spencer days. You can let that stuff go.
BioWare.
Get that out of EA. Yeah, that'd be kind of nice.
Are they a part of EA, or are they separate?
They are completely
there's,
owned.
There's no way they're buying off of EA.
Unless they just buy EA.
There you go.
I think that's too big of a purchase.
I don't think they want anything to do with it.
As you were reading about that acquisition stuff, I was on Phil Spencer's Twitter just trying to find
All right.
Phil
Spencer tweet update.
It's mostly retweets, unfortunately, but there is like a warthog doing like a burnout, like a real warthog doing a burnout, and that looks pretty cool. So maybe I'll throw that in our Discord.
Didn't he recently tweet? Here you go. This is an update. I don't know what he said. See if I can find it.
Oh boy!
But he congratulated Sony on 5 years of PlayStation VR. So I did see that earlier in the week. So there's your Phil Spencer
Not
update.
nearly as cool as a 1,000 horsepower Warthog replica that you can drive. Not nearly as cool. Shame, Matt. Shame.
You're right. There's a ton of retweeting here.
That's all it is retweets.
Come on, Phil. You're not helping out with our Phil Spencer update.
So we're going to wrap up the show with a little bit of a tech update. Just some stuff that's happening around the world of technology. So a while back, Twitch had a data breach where things were stolen. That's actually led to a bunch of like Twitch people being banned for confirming some of the information that has been coming out. I don't know why they're banning them for that, but sure. But it looks like your passwords and your credit cards are safe, as none of that information was actually cracked into. They just, from what I can tell based on the article, if somebody hopped into the public GitHub repo that they have just sitting there and just yanked their code. It's not public.
We talked about this.
Public.
Yeah, we talked about this the other week, and I think at that point they weren't sure if any personal information like this was stolen, along with the other, what was it, their Steam competitor and all this data for how much streamers get paid. But yeah, no, they finally came out and said, yeah, you should still go change your password and still go enable 2FA, two-factor authentication. That's what 2FA stands for. So,
is that like too legit to quit?
Correct. Yep.
Too legit.
Too legit to quit.
We got a really neat Nintendo rumor about a new Switch model, and it's not the Switch
come
Pro.
on. Okay.
It's
I'm excited. What is it?
not the Switch Pro. It's actually something that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Is a digital only model of the current iteration of the Switch. So OLED, base, and light. Instead of having a slot for cartridges, they would not have that and just have digital versions of the hardware. With that, do they do like a memory expansion with the save space, or some kind of upgrade to something? I don't know what, but this comes as a rumor again from somebody who is apparently a very credible leaker. His name is Special Ed, and there's like a Reddit forum or a Reddit subreddit where it's all about leaks. It's all about game leaks and things like that. And apparently this person showed the mods for that subreddit actual evidence and gave the sources on where he got all the information. So a little more highly credible in the situation, but still a rumor. We don't know much. We haven't actually heard an official announcement from Nintendo. And if it's anything like the OLED, they will deny any kind of Switch update until they push out the video the day of.
I mean, not that there's not a place for these digital only, because obviously the Xbox Series S is being, I think, pretty successful, and that doesn't have a disk drive. That's just hard drive. But how much money are they going to save by just removing the, like, that's like my question is like, what target market are you going with this? Like, how much money are you going to be able to shave off $100 by, which doesn't make sense, by just removing a port, and then you're going to probably add more memory in, so there's more on board. But I'm confused by this.
Based on some of it, it'd be like a $50 cut on each of the different iterations. So you're getting the Switch Lite for fairly cheap if you want just the handheld. Another $50 off, so it's like a $250 for the. I gotta look up the Switch prices again, but dropping $50 is a pretty big, chunk of change, right? So the regular Switch goes down to $250, the OLED goes down to $450. Wow, that's eBay. Never mind.
That's $300. It's a $350. The OLED's $350.
So that's a $300. It basically $349. So if you cut the $50 on the OLED, it becomes the same price as a base model. It's still a good deal if they do it.
Yeah.
I, for one, enjoy my physical cartridges.
I do too, actually. Yeah.
Same here. I'd prefer to have the option, even if I don't use it a lot. It's there.
Yeah.
They look nice on a shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of digital. I've got a ton of physical. It just is what it is. But I do have a Switch Pro rumor update.
Give it.
If you guys want to hear that? Otherwise, we can keep moving on. It's not in the doc, but so the upgraded Switch rumor, and again, very rumor, is that Bloomberg was not wrong. There are the 4K Switches available. However, Nintendo is also not wrong. That this iteration is going to be the next generation console for them. It's not going to be called the Switch. It'll be called something different, or like even a Switch 2.
Switch U?
Yeah, Switch U maybe.
Switch me?
That keeps them able to, if that's the case, it keeps them able to still deny and say, no, we're not working on another Switch model. No, we're not working. I mean, they said this with the OLED too, and it doesn't really hold water. But that's the thought process right now, is that it looks like a Switch, and they're running it in a Switch body so they can have dev kits out, but internally it's different, and it will be different upon whatever time and date they choose to launch or show what that looks like. So I thought that was kind of neat. It does make sense, being how long the system has been out, to look at upgrading, and you're not going to sell Switch OLEDs if you tell people, yeah, there's a new one coming. So yeah.
So the OLEDs are mid-generation kind of upgrade, where the Switch Pro is now going to be the Switch U.
Switch U, I like it.
Yep,
I think that's
I'm
what
excited
we were
for the
about.
Switch U.
And the last tidbit here is there's been an upgrade in just a few days, actually. 6 days from now, we will see the new Nintendo expansion to their online service. I am super intrigued as to what you guys think of this. I know Rich, you've got a Switch, so you may have different thoughts to this than the others. But what will be included in this new expansion is the Nintendo 64 games. You can play them at a higher res. Sega Genesis games as well, playable at higher resolution. Multiplayer for any of those games that were multiplayer, like couch co-op. You'll be able to play them online. So they've added online features to these older games. Looking at you, Star Fox, I absolutely want to play some of that online with people. But and there are more games coming in the future for each of those systems. I know they said 64 games. I don't know if the Genesis will have more. I don't remember seeing a listing of those getting larger. And then the Animal Crossing DLC will be included as well. It is a paid DLC if you don't want the extra service, but it is Paradise, Happy Home Paradise. And what you get to do is basically, instead of building your own little island, you get to build vacation islands with vacation homes for other Animal Crossing folk that want to go vacation and spend some time on another island besides their own. The big stinker with this that everyone is kind of complaining about is that it is now for an individual regular Switch Online service. You don't have to do this. You can stick with the old tier that you had. It's now $50. So they have upped the price from $19.99 to $49.99. And then if you want a family account so that it goes across multiple Switches, it is $79.99 for anybody jumping in. Yeah, a year. Yep, yearly. It's prorated if you're already currently at a tier and you want to upgrade, which most people are. I think mine is like January when it re-ups because that's when I first bought the online. And some of the huge backlash on this is that a lot of people don't think that it is worth the amount of money for the content that they're receiving. So jumping up to this $50 price point is just not enough for what it has. Their YouTube video has hit like 50,000 dislikes. So that's pretty huge. But if you go back and look at any of the other Nintendo dislike video or videos for their online service, they're all up there in the dislikes. I think that there's just a negative attitude towards what Nintendo has to offer for their online service in comparison to the other platforms. I
obviously don't have a Switch, but I had no real clue on pricing. So when they said $50, I was like, what? I mean, I come from paying what is it, $50 or $60 for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. So to me, it was like, oh, okay, that's just their online service, and I get N64 and Genesis games. That's pretty cool, So, but I get it if you're paying just $20 a year. Now you're going for $30 just for N64 and Genesis, and maybe a DLC that for a game you may or may not play. Seems like a lot.
So wait, are you going from $20 to $30 or $20 to $50?
It's an extra $30 up.
An extra
yearly.
30. So it's
$20 a year to $50.
It's $50, and if you break that down, it's really $4 more a month in a monthly cycle. So it's like $2 for Nintendo and $2 for Sega.
Honestly, I've always thought that. I mean, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to go and dislike videos. It doesn't really make me that upset, but I've never really thought that Nintendo's online service has really been worth paying for. So I think I've only ever paid for their online service maybe 1 month, and that was it. And really all I did that for was to try out some of the that was back when they had launched the Nintendo Entertainment, the NES titles that you could go back and play, which I thought was neat, but also I thought that it was just an incredibly limited library at the time. I feel the same way about this too. I feel like the library that they included with these is really, really small. I have a huge nostalgia for Nintendo 64. I mean, this is kind of one of the things that when we were talking about game services way back on the podcast is that this is something that I kind of wish Nintendo would be start release their whole catalog online. Make it, if they want to make it streamable or downloadable or something, just make it available. Like, one of the reasons that ROM piracy kind of exists right now is because there really isn't an alternative. How are you going to go, like, when that N64 breaks, or if you break a cartridge or something like that from way long ago, how are you ever going to play that again? Playing those games is still really important, and I think it actually is still really fun to go back and play older games, not just for nostalgia reasons, but it's really good. Like, it's like going back and watching movies, right? Like, just because a movie is old doesn't make it irrelevant, or it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it older, and how they did things back then is not how they do things now, and it's good to experience those things. So I think that having a service like this is really good. I just don't know if I'd pay for it right now, just because it's limited.
Yeah, I agree. I see like it's not enough content for the price, but if you go back to kind of what Matt said with looking at like Xbox Live when that first came out, you're getting all of those features. So there's downloadable content, there's online gameplay, there's everything that Xbox Live launched with is already there for the Nintendo Switch, and that was at the $19.99 price level. You'll still get that at that level, but Xbox Live's yearly price originally was that $50 level, right? So when that first came out and you were looking at a full year of Xbox Live just to be able to play online with your friends, that was still $50. So the way that my brain looks at it is, for $50, I'm getting the NES library that I'm halfway through, the SNES library that I've played a few games on and continue to play them and let my kids play, like they're enjoying these things. And then getting this, I don't really care about Sega Genesis because I've got the Sega collection. It's not because it's not good. I have the Xbox version of the Sega collection.
But
so
we
I
could play
have all of those
Golden Axe
games.
online together now.
We could. This is true. You have to get a Switch though. So I'm not super stoked on the Sega stuff because of whatever. I've already got most of it. But having the 64 games and being able to go back and play those easily for a little bit more a month, it really isn't, in my opinion, too much of an upcharge. I think that as the list grows, and hopefully it grows a lot faster than what the NES and SNES, because they're still super limited, and the games that they're putting out are not great because they're stuff I've never heard of. Maybe other people love it, but I feel like they're obscure. And then they're adding that online multiplayer to these Nintendo 64 games. That's a huge piece in itself. Going back like Star Fox, going and playing that through. Does Star Fox 64 have a co-op campaign, or was that only battle mode was the only multiplayer?
It was just the battle mode.
Okay.
Yep.
And getting some of those other titles back, like Mario Party, going back to a 64 Mario Party with like everybody, that's going to be amazing. And being able to do that online, awesome. So
if it works, that's exciting.
Yeah, I will say yes, that's really cool, with the caveat of, at least with my experience, I have never had a good online experience with Nintendo. Playing any games online with Nintendo. I remember I've played Mario Kart, which was a lag fest. I played Splatoon, which I was rarely ever to keep a game going and not get disconnected from it. I mean, I've had all kinds of connection issues with Nintendo's online service, which has been, another big reason why I don't pay for it, is because I feel like it's just really unreliable, and it's just technically not up to snuff with the rest of the competitors, being that, like PlayStation, like the PlayStation, whatever that service is called, and like something like
what,
I guess
PlayStation
you'd call
Now?
it Xbox Live, like PlayStation Now, or like an Xbox Live / a Game Pass. I mean, we're paying close to, if you want to go, dollars for dollars, I think this puts the Nintendo online service close to like a Game Pass Ultimate price.
So to just kind of pull back a little bit on what you said, they actually have switched from their NEX system into an NPLN, which is their new online server system. So they've actually completely upgraded their infrastructure to a more modern like online service and servers. Splatoon I have no problems with anymore. There's no connection issues, no lag. It's buttery smooth. I haven't played Mario Kart on it since like I got the game, so I can't tell you if that's improved any. But it is a lot smoother and a lot better, easier to connect. I don't have disconnections. I don't have problems trying to find people playing games. They kind of upgraded that to, I think, work better with Monster Hunter Rise when that hit. It kind of was the same timing. They upgraded everything so they had that better service for their multiplayer options. Add to it, with the new dock that's available, you have Ethernet. So you don't have to do everything over Wi-Fi with it anymore. You can actually, if you're playing in docked mode, you can have it hooked up to a wired connection so that you have an even better go at those servers. So I think that they've done some upgrading that I think kind of negates some of that. You just have to go and check it out and see if it's actually, up to snuff for what you're hoping for with what the other services have.
And then what about to the point of the cost of it versus what you can get from, say, other services?
They're more expensive. Sony, you get some stuff. It's not nearly as exclusive or great as Game Pass, but I want to say it's $130 for Game Pass, depending. So if you're just doing the PC version or just the Xbox, it's a bit cheaper. But if you want it to be, the ultimate Game Pass, I'm trying to remember what the yearly. It's like $120 for
It's $10 a month for Game Pass and $15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate.
Okay, so and there's no discount if you buy those at a yearly level, right?
There should be, yeah.
I think there is $60 a year for PS Now. I'd have to look at Game Pass. I think those are through cards. If you want to get like 12 months.
Right.
But I mean, $50 for a year of this is not terrible. So an extra 30, really, if you're looking at it, an extra 30 to play N64 and Genesis games. Because again, I guess, I don't know how much the DLC is for Animal Crossing. Maybe that justifies at least the first year of it.
Sure.
If it's like $20 DLC, then it's like, what the hell? I'll pay the extra 10, and I'll also get N64 and Sega Genesis games. But I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a lot for someone who's paying for Game Pass, who's paying for PlayStation Plus. I don't do the PS Now. It really is. I think it boils down to if you want the extra N64 and Sega Genesis, right?
It's not a mandatory upgrade.
Correct.
And I
Yeah.
think that's
Everything
the
else
key.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're really paying the
This
extra
is
30 if
true.
you want to pay N64 and Sega Genesis. The other thing,
But do you think that given the limited library, that extra $30 really carries the weight of having those small library of N64 games that they have and Sega Genesis games?
I think it depends on how. To me, it'd be how well does the online work? Can we really all hop in and play Mario Party or Mario 64, go at it in Star Fox, right?
Is
Can we
Mario
really?
Party one of the games?
I believe so. Yeah, at least one of them. I guess I don't know which one because there's a million of them. Is it probably the first one? I'd assume. If that stuff works and you have a group of people that play that, or you're just somebody that really likes playing those games, of course it'd be worth it. That's what whatever $30 divided by 12 is. That's what, $2.50. This is my quick math right there. I don't know, right? $2.50 a month, $2 a month, whatever, to play those games. That could be worthwhile because, again, to Mike's point, is if you just need the online for whatever other games you're playing, you can just do the $20. You get all the things you need to play. This is really, do you want to play the N64 Sega Genesis games, and do you want to play them online? Are you going to continue to play it? Is that $30 a year worth it to have that ability? I think it'll get, if they keep adding a ton of it, a ton of games to both, and over the next couple years, and then the value will definitely be there. But I also saw, and I should have saved it, I didn't know we were talking about this week. I also saw that supposedly licensing the Sega games is actually more expensive than, obviously Nintendo owns a lot of the Nintendo games, which could be a reason why that is maybe $30 instead of 20 or 10, right?
Sure.
Sega's not owned by Nintendo, so if they're putting those on there, it could be a lot more licensing.
Not owned by Nintendo yet. I'm kidding.
We all know that Microsoft's buying Sega.
So the list I've got, Rich, is Mario Kart 64, Mario 64, Mario Party 64, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis 64, Ocarina of Time, Winback, Star Fox, and Yoshi Story.
Ooh.
That's the launch.
Win
Yeah.
back.
And then Winback is a lot of fun.
Win back is
So-
really good.
If it controls well, hell yes, I'm playing that all the way over again. Like, I love the hell out of that game. For the Genesis, we've got Echo the Dolphin, Shinobi, Sonic 2, Phantasy Star 4, which is excellent. I love the Phantasy Star series in general. Streets of Rage 2, Shining Force. If you are a fan of like a tactical RPG, like a turn-based, like Fire Emblem style, Shining Force is spectacular. It is one of the best games of those that I have ever played. It's extremely difficult. It kind of runs on like the ancient D&D system, so like the to hit armor class 0 kind of hitting, I believe. So it's super difficult. You get Castlevania in there, so that's a bonus. I think we already get the Nintendo version of that though on the other side. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Golden Axe, and if I didn't say Sonic already, you get Sonic. So it's a good amount of titles just to start with.
And they're
I know that it's going to take me a while because I am going to beat Mario Kart on every single like kart class and every engine size, and absolutely go back into Ocarina. Right, like it's going to be a good time.
and some of the added features here too that you're not going to get if you have a 64 or Genesis. You're going to get things like what they call, they didn't call them save states. What, I forget what they called.
Oh, they've already got the it's like a save state. Yeah, it's
The save states. You're getting, obviously you mentioned higher res. It's going to run better in
Yep.
theory. I guess we don't know. And again, the online multiplayers, if that works, that's really cool in my opinion. So
I mean, I guess yeah, that would probably be the biggest sell for me. There would be is that if we could play some of those old N64 games online, then yeah, it might be worth it. I still think the library is really tiny, and I would love to see a lot more come out of it. But
right.
GoldenEye, right?
and yeah, like maybe because I have really bad experiences with Nintendo's online service in general, I'm a little more gun shy to being
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna jump in on this. Like I said, like this isn't enough news to get me to throw a hissy fit about it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you don't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, this isn't a mandatory upgrade. I mean, yeah, does it suck that you're not going to be able to play Nintendo 64 games on your Switch? Meh. I haven't been able to do it for a very long time, so I'm not that bummed out about
Right.
it. But at the same time, I mean, if you sell it as though it's like, well, it's $2 extra a month, and you get N64, essentially an N64 emulator and a Sega emulator on top of all the stuff that you get already, right?
Right. Some of the games that they're looking for in the future that they've already announced is like Kirby 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Paper Mario, and like the old school Pokemon Snap. Now, I'm convinced that there was only one level in Pokemon Snap, and that was all you ever got to play, because that's all I ever saw. And I played it a lot. I must have just been really bad at it and never like progressed to the next part. I don't know if I was missing something or not, but I'm going to beat that damn game one day in my life.
I mean, I'm convinced. I'll give it a try.
Me too, if I ever get a
disappointment-
Switch.
My only disappointment is I'm not going to have the printer at Blockbuster to go and print out my Pikachus. But
What are you going to do?
3D
I say,
print
Matt,
them.
you should just go do it. Just go buy a Switch so that we can play Mario Party. Both the new one and the N64 one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list, and Mario Party might not be on the launch list,
It is not.
so I'm not seeing it. I don't know why it's in my notes, but it is. So
That is a bummer. Now it's not worth it anymore.
just instantly,
Yep. I'm
not
not.
Star Fox.
I'm unsold.
Did you guys ever unlock like the characters for the battles in
Yeah,
Star Fox, so
the-
you could
the
run
on foot?
around? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's all we got for today for the episode. Anything else you guys want to chat about? Otherwise, we can move along.
Should we check Phil Spencer's Twitter real quick?
We're not
see
doing
if-
that, Matt. Get out of here.
you need us to look up?
No, I got
Ninten?
nothing.
No, I think we're good.
Look, someone coming.
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us again. Per usual, check us out on our website, campfiregamingpodcast.com. From there, you can find any way you want to watch or listen to us. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button. Hear the chick and keep watching the video. Sorry, I just had an air bubble. With that, Gentle Feathers, listeners at home or wherever you're listening, because some people take the bus or take a car into work and listen. I don't know where you're listening. Maybe you're in the bathroom showering or something. I don't know. Join us next time. Per usual, I think we release on Saturdays and that. We'll see you next time around the campfire. Later.